Have you ever felt buried under a mountain of belongings? You're not alone. Studies show that the average American home contains over 300,000 items. That's a staggering number, especially when you consider that most people use only 20% of what they own regularly. What's even more shocking? About 1 in 4 adults say they feel overwhelmed by clutter. This clutter isn't just a mess, it can also affect your mental health. A recent survey found that 84% of people feel stressed by the amount of stuff they have. The struggle to let go of belongings can be a real battle, making us feel trapped in our own spaces. So, why is it so hard to declutter? In this video, we'll explore the hidden psychology behind our attachment to things. You'll learn about the emotional ties we have with our possessions, the myths of consumer culture, and how these factors keep us stuck. We'll dive into practical strategies that can help you break free from the clutter and live a more intentional life. Get ready to discover the real reasons you can't let go of your stuff, and find out how you can start your journey toward minimalism today. Chapter 1. The hidden psychology of clutter. Did you know that humans are naturally wired to hoard? It's true. Historically, our ancestors collected resources to survive, so it's no wonder we still feel the urge to hold on to things. According to a study published in Nature Neuroscience, the brain lights up when people acquire new possessions. The feeling of security from having things is deeply embedded in our survival instincts. But in today's world, we no longer need to gather physical objects to survive. Yet, the brain still clings to that old wiring. This is where decision paralysis comes in. When we're faced with too many choices, like which old book to donate, we freeze. Studies show that the more options you have, the harder it is to make a choice. A practical strategy to overcome this is by setting clear boundaries for yourself. Try the one in, one out rule. For every new item you bring into your home, one has to go. This helps you pause and rethink whether the new item is even necessary in the first place. Another tip? Break the process into small, manageable chunks. Don't aim to declutter your entire house in one day. Instead, tackle one drawer or one shelf at a time. This makes it feel less overwhelming and more achievable. Chapter 2. Sentimental sabotage. When memories trap you, sentimental items are often the hardest to let go of. You're not just dealing with a physical object, you're dealing with memories. The emotional attachment to things like a grandparent's teacup or your child's first drawing is real. But here's an interesting fact. Studies from UCLA show that people who live in cluttered spaces report higher levels of stress. Holding on to too much can literally weigh you down emotionally. One reason for this is the endowment effect. This psychological phenomenon explains why we place higher value on things simply because we own them. For example, a sweater from your college days may not be particularly special to anyone else, but because it's yours, it suddenly feels priceless. To tackle this, try focusing on keeping the memory, not the item. Take a picture of the object, write down why it's meaningful, then let the physical item go. Another method is the memory box. Choose a small box and limit yourself to only the most meaningful keepsakes. This way, you're not getting rid of everything, but you're creating a healthier balance between keeping memories and reducing clutter. Chapter 3. The myth of just in case. How many times have you kept something, just in case, you might need it someday? Whether it's an old blender or a pair of shoes you haven't worn in years, this mindset keeps clutter alive. According to a study from Princeton University, physical clutter competes for your attention, making it harder to focus and complete tasks. So, holding on to things, just in case, is not just a space issue, it's a mental one. The fear of the unknown is what fuels this mindset. What if I need this? Becomes a paralyzing thought. But here's the truth. 80% of the things we save, just in case, are never actually used. That statistic alone should give you the push you need to start letting go. One effective strategy is to create a maybe box. Place items you're unsure about in this box and store it away for 6 months. If you haven't used or thought about the items during that time, it's safe to let them go. Another tip is to ask yourself, can I replace this for under $20? If the answer is yes, it's likely not worth keeping. If you find these insights helpful, don't forget to subscribe for more tips on minimalism and decluttering. Chapter 4. Consumer culture versus minimalist mindset. In today's world, we are bombarded with advertisements that push us to buy more. Consumer culture tells us that happiness is just a purchase away. A fascinating study by the American Psychological Association found that people who buy more are often less satisfied with their lives. This disconnect is a big reason why decluttering feels so challenging. We've been conditioned to believe that more is better. Here's a simple truth: you don't need to own the latest gadget or trend to be happy. In fact, a survey from the Global Sustainability Institute found that 90% of people say they find joy in experiences rather than material things. This suggests that moments shared with loved ones create lasting happiness, while objects fade away. To combat consumer culture, start by questioning every purchase. Before buying, ask yourself, do I really need this? Create a simple checklist for new items. Does it serve a purpose? Does it bring joy? If it doesn't pass the test, consider leaving it behind. Another effective strategy is to practice gratitude. By focusing on what you already have, you reduce the desire to buy more. Keep a gratitude journal and jot down 3 things you appreciate each day. This shift in mindset can change how you view possessions. Additionally, try a digital detox. Social media is a huge part of consumer culture. It's easy to feel like you need something just because someone else has it. Unplug for a while and notice how your desire to acquire changes. You might find that you feel lighter and less inclined to clutter your space. Chapter 5. Identity and ownership. Do you define yourself by your stuff? Many of us tie our identity to our belongings. Our clothes, cars, and homes often reflect who we are. This attachment can make it incredibly tough to let go of items. A study from the University of California found that when people identify closely with their possessions, they struggle to part with them. This can lead to a cluttered life and mental strain. Think about this quote from author and minimalist Joshua Becker: "The things you own end up owning you." It rings true for so many. When your identity becomes intertwined with your stuff, decluttering can feel like losing a piece of yourself. One way to disconnect your identity from your possessions is to redefine what matters to you. Create a list of values that truly reflect who you are, like family, adventure, or health. Once you know what's important, it's easier to let go of items that don't align with those values. Try this exercise. Spend a few minutes in front of your closet. Pick out items that you love and feel good in. Now, take a close look at the things that you keep but don't wear. These might be clothes that you feel you should keep but don't resonate with your true self. Donate or sell those pieces. Another helpful tip is to visualize your ideal life. Picture your day-to-day routine in a minimalist environment. What items are essential? Which ones are just adding noise? This vision can guide you as you start decluttering. Also, remember that your story isn't tied to your things. Take pictures of meaningful items instead of keeping them. A photo captures the memory without the physical space. You can create a beautiful scrapbook or a digital album, preserving the essence of your experiences without the clutter. If you found this video helpful, remember to subscribe for more tips and inspiration on your journey toward minimalism. Embrace the freedom of letting go, and discover the joy of living with less.